And the first thing you're going to want to do is take this nice little thing out of the box, and you're going to take all the red cards, mix them up, and then deal out 5 cards to everyone in the game, and then place 4 cards face up in the center lane. So right now I have a 3-player version of the game set up. And the left of the dealer is going to go first. On your turn, you can do one of 2 things. The first thing you can do, and you won't do it too terribly often, is you can discard up to 3 of your cards to set them off to the side, then draw the same number of cards that you discarded, and your turn is over. But most of the time, people are not going to do that. So then we move clockwise to the next player, and they will do the most common action, which is to play a card. And you're either going to play something that fits inside of one of these cards or is larger than one of these cards. So for instance, this top hat right here is actually in Paris. And so I say what I'm doing out loud, and then I draw a card. So you can either discard cards and draw back up, or you can play a card and then draw one. This game is all about being creative, so you don't have to be literal. So for instance, this top hat that's in Paris, this is actually inside of a note that I wrote. And you can do creative stuff like that. However, inevitably, someone will eventually say something like, that doesn't make any dang sense. And if someone does that, then anyone at the table can challenge them and say, hey, that doesn't make sense. And if that happens, the person that got challenged is going to defend their answer, and then everyone else, aside from that person, is going to vote with either a thumbs up or thumbs down of whether or not they think it's legal. If more people think that it's illegal, that it should be played, then the card goes away. That player loses their turn and they just draw back up to 5. However, if more people agree it's cool, or if it's a tie, then it stays. Now, eventually what's going to happen is you're going to hit a pickle round. And that will happen when you have 4 cards in a row. So for instance, this top hat in Paris, in a note, the note's actually in a river. And so now this would trigger the pickle round, which means starting with the next player, they're going to have an opportunity to play something that is larger than the river. They cannot play on any of the other cards right now, and they can't do anything smaller. So they might say, you know what, that note inside the river, well, that was not on a piece of paper, because that's actually in a book. Now, in the pickle round, if you can't play or don't want to play, you don't have to, and you can just pass. Well, that piece of paper that was in the book was actually in a doghouse because a dog ripped it up, so that player would get a chance to do it. But now it gets back to the original player who started the pickle round, and they will always have the last opportunity to play the largest card. And whoever has the last card is going to win this stack of cards. So they might try and say, oh, well, that doghouse is inside of a tank, at which point someone would obviously challenge it, it would get thumbs down, the tank would get discarded, and this player would win this stack of cards to be one step closer to winning the game. Now, at this point, after you've done a pickle round, everyone is going to draw back up to 5 cards, and then you're going to put a new card to replace in the center, and you're going to continue to go around the table clockwise. You're going to do this until someone has won a certain number of rows of cards. Now, if you're playing a 2-player game, then you have to win 5 rows of cards. If you're playing a 3 or 4-player game, you have to win 4 rows of cards. If you're playing a 5 or 6-player game, you only have to win 3 rows of cards. But before we get out of here, I want to mention a few other slight rules you need to know. Always remember that on your turn, you can play to any one of the 4 piles. You can either play a card that fits in or that is larger than, but you can never slide it into the middle like this. The card you play only has to relate to the other card it's touching. It doesn't have to relate to the entire row and be thematic. When playing a card, you can also add a modifier like a tank or my tank. However, you can't just embellish it with other nouns like rocket tank. Last, before you start up, you need to make a big decision, and that is the in versus on decision. This is a game that's all about in. However, some people use on interchangeably. In most cases, there's a clear distinction between the two. So a clown in a phone booth is different than a clown on a phone booth. But sometimes the difference may not be as clear. Do you say it inline or online? Whatever the case may be, everyone must agree before the game begins if on scenario are allowed or not. The only thing that I have not mentioned yet is the alternate way you can play the game. The only difference in the alternate game mode is that every single card in a row has to connect story-wise. But that's in a pickle from Game Right.